Hi everybody, Merry Christmas, although it's a couple of days after Christmas. I hope you all enjoyed Christmas and had a good time. And have a happy new year everybody. Stay safe but enjoy. I'm going to, I started this last month. I did a video on my op shop hop for the month, and I thought maybe I'd do another one this for this month. I didn't realise until I started pulling stuff out just how much I actually had. I've done this video once already, so I pulled everything out of different bags and now they're a bit mixed up, but I'll try to remember as I go along. And it didn't work, obviously. So because it was Christmas and we're out shopping a lot, I probably bought more than I would normally buy in a few weeks. Went to op shops more because they were next door to where we were going, or went to a different shopping centre, or even at one point my daughter took me to a friend's funeral in Whittlesea, so managed to do I think one or two op shops in Whittlesea and yay. So I bought some stuff that I probably wouldn't normally get all the time, wouldn't get that much opportunity. But anyway, so I'm starting off with this, although it was one of the later things I got later in the month. I just love it so much. For those of you who couldn't tell what it was by the cover, it is a very old ledger, and the entries in here range from about 44 through to about 54, so it's about 10 years. It's amazing, isn't it? It's obviously a creditor's ledger, and these people obviously imported, and it's a carpet shop I worked at, carpet retailer, and he obviously imported from overseas. So it's got a lot of things about overseas import charges and things like that, but I loved it. Where I bought it wasn't actually an op shop. It's sort of like a second-hand shop. It's not even a vintage shop. She has everything that second-hand that she can find, and it opened in our main street of our town a few months, or maybe a year ago now, and I've been in there a couple of times, and I've bought a few bits and pieces for my sister, mainly because they have their business, and their business is on the whole front of the waiting area and everything is all set up with very old retro things and stuff, so I bought her a few things to go on the bench in there. But anyway, I saw this and I said, this is going to be expensive, because she is expensive. And so I very timidly said, "Oh, how much is the ledger?" And she said $10. I nearly knocked her over to give her the money and get out of the shop before she changed her mind. I just loved it. I won't cut it up. Not in the near future anyway. I'll probably just try to scan in some of the pages and use them in my backgrounds, or for swaps and things like that, or in my journals. I just love it. It smells all that lovely musty smell you get from old stuff, but it's as heavy as anything. These are all metal things that go through it. And I did see on eBay just recently you can still buy pages for these books, or somebody had them. So, but I don't think I will buy it. It's sort of got a lot of I guess meaning to me too, because I am a bookkeeper / accountant and have been for 40 years or more. So I can remember writing in things like this. Anyway, I bought that. It was $10. I thought it was a really good buy. All right, now I'm going to try and go through some of this stuff, but as I said, it's been out of the bags already and got a bit mixed up. So I don't know that it'll all be in the actual bags I bought it from, but I will try. So first of all, I'm just going to not go op shopping, but these calendars are from my local pharmacy. And I picked up 3 of them because they've got some beautiful Aboriginal art in them, and I thought I would use them. They're for 2017. I thought I would use some of the pages in my journals and things, and also maybe in a swap. So I got 3 of them. So if anybody really wants one, give me a tingle and I'm happy to send one to you. Okay, but they're really lovely. All right, so that's those. Now, first op shop I visited was a bit earlier on in the month, and I picked up a few different bits and pieces. So first of all, I got this book. I just thought the cover, I generally don't make what do you call these? Ring binders in my journals. I generally sew them in. But I thought this is a really nice big size ring binder if I did want to use it to make a journal. And it's got one of these things, you know, that you can push down to clip things in as well. And it's a good width, you know, so you would get 4, maybe 5 or more signatures in there. As you can see, it contains quite a lot of these little booklets. They're all about weight loss. So I probably will just cut up some of the pages. But again, if anybody would like the actual books for weight loss or, you know, something like that, give me a yell. But otherwise, I'll just cut them up. And it's got these nice tabs too, which I could reutilize in my journals. So I thought that was really nice, and I think that was 50 cents. So I bought that. Now I'm going to have trouble putting the stuff around because I've laid it out everywhere before. Also, I got some, it says card craft, but really what it is some of this, you know, what they put in picture. I can't remember what you call it, but the cardboard, thick cardboard that they use when they're framing pictures and stuff. So it was $3, which I thought it was a bit expensive, but I think originally I thought it had envelopes in there, but it didn't. So anyway, I got that. Now I can't remember where I bought those from, so I think it was one shop that I bought them all. Now all of this I bought in this little op shop in Tyab. And I'll just see if I can get to the beginning of it, because I have taken a whole lot of the bags, as I said. Alright, so these all came from this little shop at home. Now this is a beautiful book. It was 50 cents. It's quite old. So whoever had it loved it because they've covered it in plastic and stuff. And this says 1970, copyright 1970. But it's one of those, you know, China painting books. Now, I always pick these up when I see them. I've got 2 or 3 which I've cut things out of before. Because, you know, you can use a page like that. It's usually lovely shiny pages as well, because they want to kind of give you the true look of what it's going to look like on your china. You can cut out the individual items, you know, and use them on a page. You can use them to colour in and do something with if you like. You can just cut the whole page out and use it in your journals. Even things like this one, you know, you can cut it out and put that on another page and put it in one of your junk journals. Got some beautiful illustrations in it. Look at those. I mean, imagine those cut out and set into your journals. So I bought that. So I said it's got some beautiful pages in it. And that was 50 cents. So I thought that was a really good buy. Now I'm running out of room to put these because, as I said, I've had them all in bags before. And also in the same shop I bought this. It says Heritage Quilting Designs. It's a huge, long book. Probably, you know, I don't know, double A4 in length. And it's got these quilting designs. Now again, the pages, I could use the pages in my journal, doubled up. Or cut in half. I could colour them in. I could use them for templates. You can only sort of see half the page when I'm turning it, but you know, how fantastic is that? And it could be so versatile. I can use it for so many different things. So you'll probably see a few pages of that appearing in trashy junk journals or things that I do in the near future. Also, that I nearly got, it was nearly all books and things I got at that op shop. There's a little kids book, I guess it is, or not really, but Cats and Kittens. It was 50 cents. It's in reasonable nick, I guess, but I bought it to cut up, so I will cut it up. And again, it's got some really nice pictures in it. It's falling apart in the middle, so I think there's already been some pages torn out of it. How nice is that? So again, I can cut pages out in my journals or cut things out and make them focus as bits of your art journal, whatever. So that was 50 cents. Then this little book, which I thought $3 was a little expensive. It is falling apart. But again, it's quite old. It was published by the Australian World Bureau in Collins Street in Melbourne. And look at the writing. It reminded me of the school books we used to have when we were like in, babies and high infants in primary school. And it's all about knitting and stuff. Now, I've been knitting since I was 3 years old. In fact, way before I went to school. When I was about 8 or 9, I was helping my mother knit our own sweaters. So I'm quite a good knitter, but I haven't knitted for quite a few years because my hands get very cramped and that these days I can't hold the needles for a long time. But I love this little book. Look, it's got little dolls in there. All patterns for them. Those little hoodies. My mum used to make those hoodies for us all the time. Some bed slippers. Different type of pixie hood. So again, doll's clothes. Lovely little book. So for $3, I couldn't leave it there. If anybody wants any of the patterns and things out of this, let me know and I'll photocopy them and email them to you, no problems. And then we have this one here, which is a birthday book. But again, I bought it because it's got some lovely illustrations in it. And I'll have no hesitation about cutting this up. Often I buy books and then I don't want to cut them up. But when it's something like this is just a birthday book or it's a diary or calendar or something, I have no problems with cutting them out. Oh, the illustrations are beautiful. Seeing that one? So, yeah. There's one in here that I really like. Yeah, this one. Our lady. It's beautiful. Alright, so that was $1. So I bought that. And then this is another old book. It's falling apart. I don't even know what the title was. There's no front cover. The back cover looks like it's been chewed by rats or mice or something. But anyway, it has some nice little illustrations in it. Some of them have been kind of scribbled over, I guess, rather than coloured in. Supposedly coloured in, but scribbled over by kids. But, I just kind of like the illustrations and the pages. So I have no problems about using pages of this in a journal or just using them as a background cut up into little bits or something like that. And then I bought this, what's it said, correspondence set. It's not even know it's plastic. So it's got really lovely big envelopes and some really nice flowers printed on the note sheets and on the envelopes. So that was nice. And then I found these in there. These like a little print folders from Kodak. Not sure, I'm guessing probably about the 60s. I did say to the lady, was there any photos? And she said no, but I did find a couple of photos. And it was quite funny because they reminded me when I made my communion. I was about 7 or 8, I think. My mum gave me a little camera. And it took little photos exactly like these. I think they're in this one, let me see. How small these are, and these are exactly the size of the photos my little camera used to take, and I loved it. And so these are brought back, to someone's favourite little pussycat by the looks of it. And I think the negatives are the same, yeah. So, someone's gone to all the trouble of having them printed out. So I just love them. I think if nothing else, they bring back a lot of memories for me. And this one had some photos in it, and again nothing very striking. It's amazing, you can look at anybody's relatives and the photos are pretty much the same poses all over. I could look at them and say there were photos of my relatives back in the 50s or 60s, whenever these things would have been taken. So I bought those, and again, if anybody wants, a printout or anything, let me know. I'll probably scan them and use them in my digital work somewhere along the line. So you'll probably see them then, but, if you do want a particular copy or something, just let me know. Let's put them back in here. They were $3, so $1 each. Now, the best thing about all of this is that after she added it all up, she said, it's 50% off today, so everything was really half price, so, you know, $1.50 rather than $3, but that's all right. And then I bought these 2 books. They were $1, so I got those for 50 cents. This is an old CWA cookbook. Now, this is, I think, was printed originally way back, but then they republished it and reprinted it a few times on the year. So this particular copy was 1981. I have a copy back from, I think it's late 50s, early 60s, and it's almost brand new. I mean, it's in brilliant condition. But this one's all ripped. So, and my daughter has sort of, if you like, commandeered the other one. She doesn't cook, she can't boil an egg, but she loves cookery books, and particularly cookery books like this that were obviously done by associations for, you know, fundraising and stuff. This, when we went to the Melbourne show this year, the CWA ladies were there and they had the latest version of these cookbooks, which, you know, the cover hasn't changed at all, just more modern. And anyway, she was trying to sell it, and my daughter said something to her, and she said, oh, you know, do you know what this is? And my daughter said, yeah, it's the CWA cookbook. And she said, I have one of the originals. And the lady said, you don't? And she said, yeah, I do. And she goes, oh, my, you know, you're one of the first people I've met today who even knows what this is or what we are. And she said, oh, you know, I would love to see a copy of the original. But yeah, you know, so it is kind of a book that's been around for quite a while. But anyway, so I have no problems ripping that up because it's in bad condition as it is, but I love the book itself. And these are some typed recipes, and it looks like they've been well loved and well used because they've got stains on them everywhere. So again, probably suitable for backgrounds, or I can scan them, you know, and put some of them in swaps and things like that. So that was for the Multiple Sclerosis Association. So again, I have no problems cutting these out because they're both in such bad nick as it is. So but that's all right. So that all came from one little shop. Now there was one other thing that came from there. So I'll just show you that. Now, this was just sitting on the counter. When I was paying for my things, hang on, it's stuck in this box. I have to kind of drag it out. I haven't opened it since I got home. But anyway, it was sitting on the counter and it was packed up properly. The lady's done this because she opened it and all the bits fell out and she couldn't get it back in together. But originally it was just all back in the box. It looks like it's brand new. I do have 2 sewing machines, but one's out in the shed and the other one I don't even know where it is. I haven't used the sewing machine for a long time. But mainly because I don't have the room. But I thought, oh, if this works, it's nice and small. It'll fit on that little space that I normally have left on my crafting table, or on the dining room table actually when it's not Christmas. And so anyway, she opened it. It all seems to be there. I haven't looked at it yet. But she said, oh, $15. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And then, like I said, she added everything up and she divided it by 2. So it came out to $7.50. So I can't complain. And it's a lovely little machine. I thought it was a kid's machine, but having a second look at it, I don't think it is. I think it's just one of those little small machines that they've, you know, brought out for whatever reason, perhaps for crafters like us. So I bought that. So that all came from that one shop. So at the end of the day, I think I spent about $10 or maybe $11 altogether. So that was good. I just have to find somewhere to put this at the moment. Excuse me. Now, most of this stuff here came off a CFA stall at our local community centre, and it was, you know, they had a craft day, and then the CFA had a stall, and I'm just looking to see what else I bought off there. That's it, I think. It's very hot in here. These 2. So the CFA had a stall and went over there and they had a lot of stationery items. So I bought these. They had quite a few. I bought 2 of them. There's adult colouring, City and Travel. There's 12 sheets in there, 12 designs. I bought this ribbon binder album, which you can see had $5.95 in it originally, so I had down to $2.25. So again, I probably won't use it like that, but or maybe I'll give it away or something. They had these little things which had been $5.95, so they're like a Peter Rabbit Beatrix Potter, I can't even say it, nursery freeze. And then there's this little, there's 80 pages of wood-free paper. It's a handy size little notebook, which originally had been $5.95, and that was $1. And this, again, it's kind of like a journal from a mum or a dad, or both, I suppose. It says, "Dear son, from you to me." That was $1. This one had been $13.95 originally, and they had it for $5. And again, it's a journal. It says "Leading Ladies," so I'm presuming there's pictures in there of leading ladies, but I haven't really looked. And this one here was reduced. I had $5 on it, but he gave it to me for $1 because I bought so much, and it had been $19 originally. So that's 12 postcards. This was another $1 one. So this is again, it says free schedule, so it's like a scheduler. Paperwork. It had been originally $5.95. He gave it to me for $1. And then I bought all three of these. So they had these bridge books, $9.95. I'll just open one. Well, these would be really good in journals and things. Contract score pads. So they all came from the CFA stall. And then I'll just put these to one side. Like I said, I did have this better organised than the first video. But, you know what it's like when you take videos, you can't always reliable. Now, I bought these in some op shops around Rosebud, around Mornington. I probably would normally have not bought this, but it was 50 cents. So I thought, well, I'll grab it and see what I can solve out of it. It's got a few glossy papers, which again, I said if I was buying scrapbooking supplies, it's not something I would buy. It's got some of these cardboard kind of stencils. It's like a bit of a dinosaur, I think. And this one's Christmas tree, so I'll probably use that. Haven't really been able to make out what this is. I don't know, it looks like there's a bird in there, but perhaps someone can tell me. And then there's some fruit and stuff like that. Anyway, they were in there. And there was a lot of stickers. Now, I'm not a sticker person generally, but again, the nice sort of things, or just if you want to put in just a, you know, a sheet when you're doing trash journaling swaps or something like that. This is like foam cressets. These are these hard plastic. I probably might use some of those. Some more sheets of alphabet. Quite a few of these sheets of alphabet. I'm guessing it was some sort of kit originally. Canna Montana. They're quite thick sort of stickers. But the whole lot was 50 cents. So I thought, well, I might not use them, but I could use them in the background, or, you know, part of a collage or something like that. And then I bought this book, Printing by Hand. It's quite a nice book. They had a lot of books, scrapbooking books, not magazines, books too, but most of them, you know, Ali Edwards and stuff like that, they're probably for someone who just starting off scrapbooking, I guess. But I bought this because I thought, oh, well, most of this I probably already know. But, you know, it's always handy to look back on things and get some more different ideas. Plus, the pictures in here are quite nice. So, I can probably tear out some of the pictures and even, you know, the instructions, put them in a journal. And it has at the back an envelope with all of the original patterns you need for the stenciling and stuff. So, that was nice. That was $1, I think. Had been $45 originally, and it's almost brand new. So you couldn't really leave it there for that price. So that was in one shop. Then I went to the, I can't remember what you call it, Outlook I think it is, which is like a recycle place. I think the council might run it or something like that. And we went there looking for something that my husband wanted to do or my partner wanted to do. But anyway, I bought this. It's like a scarf. Still sealed in the thing. I bought it because of the dragonfly. I would never use it as a scarf. I'm not really that sort of I like long scarves in the winter, but you know, these sort of scarves I don't normally use. But I could cut that out and maybe use it in a fabric book, or I don't know, maybe just scan it or something like that. But it wasn't very much anyway, so I bought that. And then I got this recipe book, which is still sealed in plastic. It came in, and it's got a little spoon in there, and I'm guessing it's got pages that are laid out for the recipes. I haven't really opened it as yet. And I bought this thinking that they were plastic, you know, like for underneath your food, and I was going to use them, cut them in half and use them in my art journal. So I do that with ones I buy in those $2 shops, and then you can use them to separate your pages and things so that ink or paint doesn't drip. But they're actually not plastic, they're actually sheets of very glossy paper. So I'll probably end up putting them into trashy junk journals or flowish journal swaps and things like that. Then I got this, which is just a small piece of embroidery anglaise, but it's quite wide, so I thought that would be good for a book. You know, you could use it on the cover for a journal, or again if you're making pages for a fabric book or something like that, would be handy. And that is not from this shop actually, it's from another shop. It's got me mixed up. I've just put it in there anyway. It's just a Perspex heart, needs a good clean. And then there's this little, I thought originally they were handkerchiefs when I bought them, but it's actually a handmade guest towel. Again, hasn't been opened. Someone's torn the original price off, so I don't know how much it is. But it's got some beautiful embroidery and it's got some lovely edges. So again, I would use this as a page in a fabric book. It's really, really nice. Some, I think they're Japanese, something like that. They're like a little coaster. And again, I bought this book here. It was brand new. It was $1, and it's a recipe book, and it's got all these blank pages for your recipes. There's some plain thing, what do you call it, plastic on the front, and it's got some tabs. And then it's got these plastic pockets at the back so you can put some more recipes and things in. And once again, it's a nice size book, and it's got this really nice, you know, sort of spring ring backing on it. So I thought I could either gift it on like it is, or tear pages out of it, or use it in a journal, and use this cover for a journal, or just turn the whole thing into a journal, whatever. Alright, so that was from another shop. Now I'm just going to finish this one, and then I'll make another video another time. So this was from a shop at Rosebud, I think it was. Just trying to think, it was either Rosebud or Orange, and like I said, some of these things have got a bit mixed up. So this is some roommates pre-pasted wallpaper cutouts, and it is beautiful hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas. And so they're already cut out. They're all the same colour, unfortunately. Oh no, I think there's a couple of different colours. So I bought those. I don't think they were much, 50 cents or something. And a little bag of mixed serviettes, which was 75 cents. There's a couple of different patterns. And these ones, which I've already given some of these away in the Christmas swaps and things. Yeah, this was definitely the recycle shop at Rosebud, this one. And what else did I buy in there? Okay, so I got some of these bags. Now I've seen these around the stores, so these are pretty modern. This is a plastic tablecloth, which I paid 20 cents each for them. I thought they'd come in handy for under your artwork. These are some red, what do you call it, like tissue paper, 50 cents. I bought a couple of these. I think I've already given one away. And they're like Happy Christmas note letterheads, notepads. So it was $2.25. I bought this, which is again, writing paper and envelopes. These envelopes are a bit small. They've got a teddy bear inside, but that's sort of what they have on the envelopes. I think that was $1. And I bought some stickers, which had $1 tab on them. Again, not sticker person, but when you're doing journals, these sorts of things are good just on the corners of pages. They're kind of vintage looking. I'm actually doing a swap of inferior, so I'll probably just put them in there. Some Victorian die cuts, $2. And a whole packet of old-fashioned top. Well, they're not old-fashioned because they probably come from China, yeah. But they're handkerchiefs, never been used. And these are just some plastic covers that you can put on books and things. So again, you know, I often have need for plastic or something just that I can use, either put around a book or, you know, make some pockets out of or something like that. I'm just trying to look. No, there, it won't add it there. Sorry, like I said, some of these things got mixed. Excuse me, behind my head. So I'll tell you that was. So I bought this set of dominoes. Giant dominoes. It was $2. See, they're huge and they're really thick. And I think they would be great for tags. You know, you can sort of sand them over a bit and you can paint on them, or you can stick paper on them. I mean, you can't even buy a packet of tags that are that thick for that price, so $2 was a good buy. I bought this, which is motivation for general studies.